Sup.
What's up?
I hope the volume is good. I don't see anybody in here yet. Oh, I'm doing impromptu live, huh?
Oh shit.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, I got it.
You said you got it?
Yep.
Oh. It don't show nobody in here. That's crazy. Well, been a little Miss MIA. Hey, Warrior Lifetimes, how you doing? Like I said, a little Miss MIA. Apologize for the impromptu hiatus. Been doing a bit of chillaxing. Let's see, chillaxing, regrouping, working on some personal stuff, just learning how to just be for a while. But I really missed you guys. Like I was talking to my hubby earlier. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to get back to it. Not that I wasn't trying to get back, but y'all know how it be. And had a lot of things going on family wise. Your hair is longer. Oh, thank you for noticing. Yeah, it's getting there. It's getting to the point where it's getting annoying. So I guess the struggles of trying to have longer hair. So we'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to pop on here since I was able to get some stuff figured out a little bit, and wanted to just touch base and see how everyone's doing, because I, again, still been thinking about everybody and how everything's going and all that jazz. Let me say, am I in the heat wave? I think so, but honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been in the house, so I don't know. I think I'm in the zone for the heat wave, but I'm not 100% sure. What about you? And if you are, hope you're safe, hope you're good. If anybody was in the pathways of the flooding, I know that's been seeming like happening everywhere. Hope everybody's good there. If not, I hope things get better. Let's see. Trying to cover all my bases. I know it's been a month since the last time I post. Hopping on, but not too bad. Okay. Well, again, I hope you and yours are safe and well. Yeah, I know. Pretty much just been tending to family matters. My oldest finished out homeschool, high school, so yay. He's officially graduated by me, so he's been trying to get out here into the working world. He's already seeing what it's like, the stress and triggers of applying for jobs and stuff. So been trying to tell him to just, be positive and understand that, from what I'm seeing, that a lot of people going through the same struggles as he is. So just take it easy. I remember not that long ago being a millennial and all, like soon as my, my class had graduated, and that's when, the recession of 2008 had popped off. So I feel like unfortunately, what his generation is dealing with is like similar to what mine was dealing with right out of high school. So I know it sucks, but he'll find his way through it, I'm sure, just like any others that are out there looking for work and stuff like that. I know a lot of people are super, what's the word I'm looking for? Super ingenuitive and come up with new ways all the time to make fun. Shoot, I'm trying to get on that train myself. Just because things are changing and kind of want to make things happen for yourself and or for your family. So you just kind of got to do what you got to do, which I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know a lot of you all been on that. So I feel like I'm just kind of playing catch up a little bit. But hey, everything takes time. And learning how to give yourself grace in the meantime is important. Right thing at the right time. Yep, and I agree with that. Everything in its time and in its season. But yeah, I didn't have anything like specific I want to get on talk about. I did want to, seeing as I had the opportunity to, I did want to get on here and touch base. I like to be able to get back on my regular schedule. But like I said, I'm still trying to work some things out behind the scenes. I've also, like I said, just been resting and chilling. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I ain't been enjoying my time offline, because it was nice. And I recognize it is important to, take as many breaks, especially when you're dealing with type of stuff myself and others deal with in the TI community and stuff like that. You kind of got to take a pause for the cause and, just take stock. Miss cooking videos. Oh, okay. Shoot, I might have to bring it back. I did stop my, I think I did tell you guys I had to stop my Hungry. I feel like my family, we kind of do it in cycles, because the last time we did it, or last time we had Hungry Root, we kind of took a pause, and then when we moved to AZ, we started it back up again. But we took a pause for, it just got to a point with my family and I, we weren't like eating them as much, and then like I said, some other stuff we were dealing with. But right now I kind of been freestyling again, and or like relying back on my own little recipes, or utilizing some of the recipes that I got through Hungry Root and just making it with my own ingredients and stuff like that, which helps, because it sucks having to come up with recipes every day. Especially like I said, my boys being home, so we all pretty much pitch in now that everybody's old enough to make breakfast, lunch, dinner, or however often everybody wants to eat, because that changes too, especially with it getting hotter. Sweet tooth and all that's still there, ironically, for the whole family. That's just who we are. Can't shy, can't get away from that. But and then junking out, because I know we had like a junk session yesterday, a couple times last month. So yeah, trying to get back off of relying on that stuff so heavily. Just that's why most of the time I hate to say it, but my partner in crime over there be the main one bringing that stuff in, but I'm guilty as charged, because I sure do eat it. So take accountability wherever I can on that one. Let's see. Like I said, nothing really too new. I did have some like odd discoveries on my channel that I'll probably try to do a separate live for, but just to touch base, I wanted to kind of give everybody like a heads up. I don't know if it's scams or I'm thinking like scams, or just like channels dedicated, I guess, to targeting other channels for stuff. But I ended up finding like 2 channels attached to my channel, and I did report it to YouTube. I never really heard nothing back on it, but I just with everything I've been dealing with, I was like, now stuff kind of make more sense in terms of like viewership and numbers, and maybe why my videos haven't been getting out there as much as they probably should have, or at least in the beginning when I was posting. And just becoming aware that a lot of stuff with the TI community is a bigger network of those individuals who are in respective in respective positions to potentially, I guess, help suppress and or silence people like myself speaking out against the type of things that they're dealing with. Like I said, what was weird about the channels is that they didn't necessarily have any content, but they had hella viewers, like hundreds of thousands of viewers. So that instantly set set me to trigger and to go ahead and report it, because I was like, yeah, I don't know what this stuff is, what it got to do with. I've heard some horror stories about some channels on YouTube, doing inappropriate stuff, or along those lines. And I'm like, I let YouTube know right away. I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I don't know what content that stuff is subscribed to or what it's pushing or promoting, but I don't want no part of it. And my channel ain't got ish to do with it. So, I mean, my channel's still up, so all I can assume is they figured that out. But I don't know. Just my experience so far with my YouTube channel has been a little odd. And I also, like I said, I'm not an idiot to recognize that a lot of the individuals that frequent my channel are likely the perpetrators that I'm talking about. So, because that's what they like to do. Stephanie's secret. I have to shoot. Let's see if I can run that back. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so just wanted to make those who are in the community or subscribe or have their own channels aware of that. Yeah, like I said, the channels in question were like really, really odd. And like I said, I didn't hear anything from YouTube, so I'm not sure if it's something that they were even aware of or whatever, because they never, like I said, I hadn't gotten anything back from them. But I'll probably be trying to check back up on that just to make sure that that stuff has been removed from my account. If not, I'll definitely have to possibly make some other arrangements just to make sure that my channel is still not compromised with whatever is associated with those accounts, because I don't know what that stuff is. And speaking of, like I said, all of that, I have been able to think more on some things that I've experienced and things that's kind of come up, some epiphanies, if you will. Just like I said, during my time just chilling, waiting, and figuring stuff out, I've been able to kind of go down like memory lane, if you will, to make, not, I want to say make sense of it, because again, you can't make sense of foolishness, but to kind of come back to the origins, if you will, of what all kicked this stuff off. And I've become aware of multiple different scenarios that have come up for even other TIs, because there's even TIs that I follow. One specifically, what's her channel, is the Targeted Journey. And she had been, I've been following her story because I found a lot of what her story was kind of similar and relatable to mine in a way. She is a single female, but again, a lot of what she was describing that she was going through, showing what she was going through, similar to what I was going through or have been going through. So I just kind of really related with her stuff. And like, for me, just seeing her post, because I know like she also, like me, kind of takes hiatuses away because she just try to focus on surviving and taking care of herself and all, and I completely get that. But I noticed that she too had recently started coming back and posting a little more, and she seems to be in good spirits. So I'm happy that she's doing well and that she is still staying safe. She's still dealing with what she's dealing with, but kind of like with me, just coming to a point and being resolved and knowing that you still got to keep going. Like, life doesn't stop just because of what you're going through, and as much as you'd want it to, it just, it is what it is. Like, we can't rationalize a lot of the nonsense, but like I said, just being able to piece more pieces of the puzzle together. And I've come to the conclusion that when it comes to my story, I believe that I have multiple individuals that I've rubbed the wrong way, I guess, over the years. And I guess they all, may have inadvertently linked up together. and decide to come at me, and or it's like if I guess if I have pissed off another person, somehow they find out about me, and then they're like, oh yeah, her, and it's like, and then so understanding that has helped me to realize, like, it's just a very, very sad state of affairs, and where we live in this world where people feel like they can't vocalize their grievances with individuals without feeling the need to have to resort to these type of tactics, this type of stuff. And I'm one to talk because I know, like I said, I've called myself out about the last like big thing that, not speaking up for myself, and or when I did speak up for myself, it only seemed to encourage more harassment, bullying, whatever you want to call it. So I've had to learn that lesson myself over the years, but never have I ever tried to sick someone on someone for the sole purpose of, like, for stalking or whatever. Like, nah. And my whole thing is, on like, I'm not perfect. I've made plenty mistakes even throughout this whole thing, but I'm not in a place where I want to put someone in the same situation as me. Now, don't get me wrong. There's only, I too have a limit. And just like anybody else, I'm going to do what I need and what I feel I need to do to continue to protect myself as well as my family. In the spirit of that, I've been able to, take steps in the right direction to help with my feeling safe and all that jazz. And it's not even so much that I don't feel safe in this moment or anything like that, but just like leading up to now, there were times where I was like, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel like I wasn't comfortable. I didn't know, like, who's involved, what, who's gonna try to come at me. But now I kind of really just don't care, in the sense that, yeah, I know people still trying to come at me or do their little, whatever they do, but like, okay, like, I'm just not amused. I'm not hardly phased by any of it. And to be honest with you, especially in the area that I'm in, it's like, yeah, eventually, stuff has no choice but to kind of die down a little bit. And that's kind of what I had been feeling like. Stuff had died down. I say up to a couple weeks ago, because I ain't gonna lie to you, I still kind of been in the house mostly, but like, especially when I do go out, like, I again notice all the theatrics and stuff. But I'm just getting better at just not reacting to it and just keep it pushing. Which ultimately is what it is, because for me, with all of this, back to the individuals who and I have a very good, like, idea of all of these individuals, because I think what people fail to understand about me is that I have a very good memory for the stuff that I need to. And unfortunately, my brain is wired to remember my traumas and those who have traumatized me. So, even if they're here right now or gonna see this later or watching in a truck somewhere in the neighborhood, yeah, I know. I know. So it's like, you know, all I got to tell you is, nothing that you're doing will ever break me, will ever stop me. I'm going to always find a way to make happen what I need to make happen. And that's a warrior spirit. And I am a warrior. I've been through far worse. And I have to just keep reminding myself of that consistently. And I want to encourage you all to remember the same, that you're warriors. You're not, you're not weak. You're not minuscule. You got this in the bag. And to understand that is to understand this, is that at the end of the day, all this stuff has no choice but to come to a halt. With everything going on in the world around us, all of these potential wars or active wars or whatever, all these natural disasters, I keep hearing about all this different stuff day in and day out, day in and day out. And then all I can think to myself sometimes, like, dang, but people still worried about me. All this stuff going on, but people still worry about me. And it's like, that's how you really know, like, this stuff really is like the end times. It really is just a mindset. It's a sickness. And what's crazy is the whole end game about it is to make someone like me feel like I have the mental illness or I'm sick when I'm not. And that's because I'm sane enough to call it out, whereas other people would have probably been done the inevitable by now, or hurt somebody else or whatever. And I'm not, it's not that serious at the end of the day for me, at least not at this point. I don't get, like I said, don't get it twisted. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to protect me and my family and whatever that looks like. But I'm not, going out here trying to agitate folks. Like, that ain't my thing. Like, if my mere existence agitates you, makes you feel insecure, makes you feel uncomfortable within yourself, then you need to investigate why you feel that way when you see me. That's all I can tell you. But I'm not gonna stop existing. I'm not gonna disappear into thin air just because it makes people feel uncomfortable. Like, you just have to get over that. Like, that's the best thing I tell you. Just like me existing even during the midst of all this, because I feel like the phase that I'm in with all of this stuff is that, I finally feel like I'm seeing changes inadvertently, or, karma, whatever you want to call it, being doled out to some individuals that's probably participating in all this, and they finally like waking up and realizing, like, damn, like, no matter what we've done to this lady or tried to do to this lady, she's still here. But I gotta leave now. And it's like, yeah, like, I've been saying it from the jump that I'm divinely protected. But as my father would say, a hard head make a soft behind. And some people just don't learn, until it's them. And or, the universe shows them better than anybody can tell them, I guess. But it's never a thing for me to want to kick somebody when they're down. But I don't feel sorry. I don't feel bad, because again, it's that whole, we all make our proverbial beds and we gotta lay in them. Just like I'm sure no one in that camp has felt sorry about me or for me, and I don't expect them to. Like, I don't expect anyone to feel any type of way. But I hope at the very least something that they've taken away from this situation dealing with me is to recognize that, there's some people you might be able to bully and push around and they just take it and you just get away with it. But then there's other people like myself who will still stand strong, still stand 10 toes down, and still be standing even after you got to move on, and still looking at you like, yeah, I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm sorry, but not sorry if that, if that rubs you the wrong way, but it is what it is. And also, it's like, when you love yourself, when you have a loving family, a support system, even when y'all are all like tired and struggling together, but y'all are together, that's an unstoppable force. Like, that is a whole different level of love that so many don't get to experience. And love ultimately conquers everything. That's why, like, I'll have moments, and I've even noticed it in myself, where I'm getting like frustrated or angry and about stuff, and I ain't gonna lie to you, like, some of the stuff I'd be saying, like, man, this don't sound like me. Like, I don't feel like this is me speaking. I feel like it's my ancestors. I feel like it's, just a spirit or something that be on me sometimes. And I have to check myself, like, actually, why are you talking like, why are you feeling like this? And most of the time it don't even be anything like going on or whatever, but it just would be a strong emotion. And then I'm like, yeah, that wasn't me talking. It may just be the situation. It may be a frustration, like a subconscious thing that gets brought to the light. And, I have to investigate that. And, I've been having more and more moments like that where I'm like, man, why am I like feeling this way? Why am I popping off like this? But in the grand scheme, what's the crazy part is I be right, like, most of the time. Like, I'm not, and it's not like, I'm like, I think I always got to be right. I'm just saying, like, it be stuff that if someone else heard it, they would probably want to label me something, but it's not that at all. It's just because I see stuff exactly as it is, instead of how they may be packaging it up and want me to see it, but I see it for exactly what it is. And like I said, I've been trying to do a better job of remembering that, again, not everybody got anything to do with a lot of this stuff. and to not just try to like, not that it's ever been my nature, just walk up and be randomly rude to people. Like, that's never been in my nature. Again, like I said, it's one thing if someone's just, has tried to play in my face and I peep that, then that's different. But just me walking up just being rude and nasty to people, like, that's not me. I'll be quiet and not say a word before I just flip mode on somebody like that, especially now. um but don't, it's like, but we're in times where anything could trigger anybody. um Easier more now than anything. Like, shoot, just seeing about the um trying to figure out how to say it, the unfortunate event that transpired at a Walmart. What was it? I think yesterday or so. um and a bunch of people got hurt. you know you don't, like, I can't even imagine whatever was going through that individual's mind and why they decided to just snap like that and start doing stuff like that. Like, those are the type of times that we living in and living through, where anything could set anybody off at any time. So that's why, like, to me, people who are in this program and signing up to do this type of stuff, like, y'all really playing with y'all lives. Like, because people is like unstable. People is unraveling at a rapid rate. People are losing their jobs. People are losing their homes. People are losing family. They're not being able to feed themselves. They're not being able to take care of their responsibilities, and that, for some people, that weighs real heavy on some people more than others. So it's like, I I don't know how some of these people do it, because it couldn't be me. I wouldn't be out here playing with people for fun. I don't give a flip what amount of money somebody giving me, what gifts, what free rent, what free mortgage or whatever. Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. But that's what separates people like me from people like them, because some people will do anything for a buck. Some people will do anything, um, just like I said, to fill their coffers off of the backs of other people. But what they fail to realize is eventually the devil always double back to collect, and and anything that joker give come with strings, anything. So that's why I'm like, hey, I'd rather be broke. I'd rather be, you know, lowly and humble and all that, and not have a dime to my name, but have my integrity, but have my morality, than to sit out here and be doing what these people be doing to folks. Like, cause now the way that I think about stuff, when I see stuff like that happen in the public light, my mind instantly goes to, I wonder if that was a targeted individual who finally had enough and just snapped. But then the world will try to paint them like the bad guy. They'll try to paint them like the bad guy, not knowing that that person's probably been dealing with years, months, etc. of psychological torture, essentially. And when I think about stuff like that, like, I think about how naive I was to all of this stuff, and people being targeted for dang near anything at this point. People trying to blow up people's whole lives over some hurt feelings, over rejection, over envy, over jealousy, over what they probably claim or feel like is retribution for something someone else did to someone. Like what? For comments. Because last time I checked, this is still America, and free speech is still a thing. Last time I checked, I might be wrong. Somebody let me know when that changed. But it's like, that's just how sensitive the world is and how people is. Because me, I'm pretty sure I've been talked about like a dog, been dragged left and right through their little, program and stuff like that. But I really couldn't care less, because these are people that I oftentimes and probably wouldn't associate myself with anyway. So you're not really hurting me. You're not doing me any harm at the end of the day. Like I said, yeah, this stuff gets annoying, especially when I'm again trying to work on things, trying to better myself, and feel like every which way I'm being, agitated or aggravated. But that has to reflect on me and how I'm receiving it. No, I can't change how it's being doled out to me, but it is up to me as to how I receive it. And the saying goes for you, if you're a TI, how you receive it is how it's going to be. Because when you reject it, when you choose to not let it rile you up, again, depending on whatever the tactics may be for you, if you choose not to let it rile you up, that all that energy, all that voodoo, all that root work or whatever spells that they trying to throw at you has no choice but to go back to sender. If you choose not to let it hit you, and embody it. And that's, again, that's even something that I still struggle with to this day, but I've definitely, I feel, gotten better. I still have my days here and there, and I feel like throughout all of this, you kind of gotta take necessary precautions to take more mental health days and checking in with yourself. And sometimes, you just kind of gotta just be and just breathe, and that may look like just laying about. That may just look like, I know I done had a few days throughout this whole month, whole few, maybe even a week, if I'm keeping it a buck, of just laying about. And I had asked myself, like, dang, Ashley, are you depressed? Are you sad? And I'm like, no, I don't feel any of those things. This is literally just my body being able to freaking rest. And it's like, it's so crazy, because when you're used to chaos all the time, when you're used to chaos all the time, boredom feels like, okay, it's like, okay, when the other shoe gonna drop? You're like, you just waiting for that other shoe to drop. But when the shoe doesn't drop, you're like, oh, so this was just peace. Like, okay. Like, so like that's the stuff I still struggle with to this day. I literally was talking to my husband about that earlier. Like, we've had days where, we're just chilling in the house, and just having a good time, and we're like, man, like, so this is what peace feels like, dang. Even though, yeah, people still may try to, bother us in their own little way or whatever, but again, it's more so how we choose to handle it, how we choose to go forward. And the biggest thing that I've been learning is, like I said, going back to the whole real G's move in silence. So even with me talking right now, I'm talking about things that have already either transpired, or stuff, like I said, that's no longer a stumbling block for me. I'm not giving anything away that I feel like is gonna be giving them a tip off, like how I was originally when I started my channel, and I was just every little thing, camera. And I realized, I'm like, yeah, that's gonna get old for me real quick, because one, I'm just not that fascinated by other people like that. I can have a short attention span when it comes to people at times. I'm a person that likes to be mentally stimulated, and yeah, I don't have that type of energy. It's like, yeah, I might get on it for a second, then I'm like, yeah, nah, I'm good. Like, they can have it. Like, I'm good. Like, I'm not. And what's crazy about it all is, like, it's taken all of this for me to finally come to that place. And like I said, throughout this month that I've kind of been, just like I said, chilling offline, I've been doing a lot of research on a lot of different things, watching a lot of YouTube of other, like I said, people going through similar experiences, learning from their experiences, learning new tips and stuff like that from them. And then everyone seems to have their own, what's the word? They seem to have their own theory about how their journey got started, and why they're going through what they're going through. So that's why I said, like, where I am in this process, I definitely feel like I'm out of the initial reactive phase where everything was just like freaking me out, because I'm like, bro, like, why? But now it's like, I still wonder why, don't get me wrong. And that's just, again, I'm a inquisitive person. Like, I like to know the whys, but I've come to the conclusion that even if I never figure out the true solid whys or the who's or whatever, like, it's all good. Like, that's what I said, like, yeah, I'd like to know who the main perpetrator is. And like I said, I have a mental running list of those individuals. family or non. But I ultimately recognize that it still wouldn't change anything. I mean, outside of being able to, file proper lawsuits, if it ever came to that. I mean, that's about the only thing. But, you know, all of this stuff, it is very much so spiritual. Like, no one can convince me otherwise at this point. Everything that myself and others been put through this program has only made us stronger and has helped every last one of us come to similar conclusions about that this stuff is spiritual. If I was questioning that even just a little bit, I no longer question that. I know that it is. And I feel like even to a certain degree, um, definitely includes like religious undertones of, people with certain religious affiliations. Because I know for me, I recognize that when I was within Christianity, I'm not gonna sit here and say I never had anything happen, because I definitely still was having a lot of spiritual warfare going on, um, even then. But especially after removing myself from, I've noticed an uptick. And I know to most people that would make them, think, oh, well, see, this is why I need to go back to church, yada, yada, yada. But for me, it's been the opposite. I'm like, it's just further confirmation that I'm on the right track. Because if when I was in religion, I was being attacked, I was going through all this under the guise of, oh, well, when you put Christ on or whatnot, the devil attacks you more. And I'm like, yeah, and there may be some truth to that. However, when it's the same individuals that's supposed to be your brother, sister in Christ, lying on you, lying on your children, stealing things from you, disrespecting you, it's like, nah. And I know some people like, oh, well, that was just those people, that was just that situation, that was it. And yeah, I get that too. However, I should not go to those places feeling worse than when I came in. And I'm thank you, babe. I should not feel like a worse person unless I truly was just like a dirt bag and know I'm in there doing wrong. But I've always been a person that's tried to live an upstanding life. Like, even before I joined Christianity, I don't smoke, don't drink, I don't club, I don't party. I'm not an adulterer. I don't do any of that stuff. I wasn't doing any of that stuff then. I'm not doing any of that stuff now. That is a reflection of my character and who I am. And I don't need a respective religion to tell me that. That was at a point in time in my life where I thought I needed those things in order to reflect that. But the kicker is, I was a reflection of that the entire time. I felt more spiritually connected more now than I ever have, being removed from that religion. So, and I'm not saying that that's everybody's experience, because I know some people still go, and it, excuse me, it helps them, in whatever retrospect that it does, to quote unquote be a better person. But for me, I've never needed that. Like, I've always done my best to be fair to people. Oftentimes being a doormat to people or with people, letting people be a doormat, or let me be a doormat when it would come to people, because I'm thinking in my mind, like, oh, this is the quote unquote Christian thing to do, to just keep turning the other cheek every time someone's distracting me. Oh, they're having a bad day. Oh, make excuse for it. But I'm like, no, like, and that's when I quickly realized that a lot of those institutions are a narcissist playground. It's a narcissist playground. Like, a narcissist could go in any religious structure and clean house with people who thought like me, because they will sit there and gaslight you at every turn and make you feel like, well, if you don't forgive me, you're not a Christian, or if you don't forgive me, you're not a this, and you're not saved. And it's like, it'll just be a never ending cycle, and it keeps you stuck in this cycle. Like, you need someone's forgiveness. You don't need anybody's forgiveness but your own. that's who you're responsible for. And I mean, there's some other things, some other gems I could drop on that, but like I said, this this wasn't supposed to be that heavy, but I made it that way. So that's my whole thing, is that it just comes out of me, and I'm gonna say it. Like, I'm gonna get it out. Like, I can't hold that stuff back, because some people need to hear that. Some people need to hear the truth straight, raw, no hand holding, because I feel like that's why the world is in the state that it is these days, because everyone has a hard time just taking the truth as it is. Like, if someone's coming like, okay, well, actually, well, since you talking about truth, well, you did such me. You know what? Okay, well, if I did those things, I apologize. How would you like to proceed? You want a solution to that problem, or you just want to sit here and just try to make me feel bad? Because you can't have both. You can't do both. And that's what this program gives me. It gives me that people don't want a solution to whatever perceived problem that they think that they have with me. They just want to make me suffer. And then all other respective TIs, they just want to make them suffer. So, like I said, that's how I know, like, all of this stuff is very much so spiritual. It's a spirit that are over these people, that they either have invited in, or they have willfully given themselves over to, or being, used inadvertently. Like, again, I honestly, the way I see it, I feel like a lot of people are just, inviting in that spirit. People are being tempted by the flesh. People are being tempted by monetary gain. And again, yeah, who doesn't like money? I get it. But my whole thing is, there are just some lines that should never be crossed. And when it comes to betraying your fellow man, woman, etc., essentially becoming a Judas, because that's what I think of it as. It's a Judas spirit. How Judas essentially sold out Jesus for a couple of pence, And my whole thing is, I'm like, it's like you were rolling with someone who could have gave you everything, but you went and wanted to betray him for what? And still lost your life. So it's like, but I know not everyone in that program is religious. I know some people just are pure, I don't want to say Satanists, because I feel like that's a generalization, and I'm not trying to generalize those people, because again, I don't know what those people believe, think, feel on a communal level. I know, again, you have, just like with any group, you have some extremists, in any retrospect group, whether that be Christian, and so many other religious organizations and affiliations. But when you lose your humanity, meaning that you're okay with reporting on someone solely because you're gonna get some money, you're gonna, or, oh, well, they did me wrong, so I don't care. Like, it speaks more about your character, because then the question becomes, well, what won't you do for a buck? Not what will you do, but what won't you do? Just saying. And I know some people they're okay with doing whatever for a buck. Like, that's just the spirit of some folks. But I'm a person, I have certain morals and lines that I won't cross. But I'm also not, like I said, I'm also not a pacifist. I used to consider myself a pacifist at one point in time, but not any longer, because I know that I deserve to be here, and so do you all. So it's like, no, you don't have to just let people walk all over you and treat you any type of way and try to harm you and your family. Like, no, that's never okay. You can't even, you can't do your part if you're not here. You can't be used to deliver good to this world, or whatever it is that your respective talents or gifts or calling is. You can't do that if you're not here. So for me, that's why, like I said, the impromptu hiatus, like, I didn't plan I didn't plan to take that month off. Like, I didn't, I thought, like, I originally did plan to take like 2 weeks, just because my husband came home and we just wanted to reacclimate with as a family with our boys and just trying to kind of get back into the swing of living um, back as a fam of four and all that good stuff and handling any like personal stuff we got going on. But all the rest of that stuff was unplanned. But I'm not mad at it because I recognize that it may have been protection in some way. It may have been exactly what I needed. And in this moment, like I really do feel like I have more clarity about the situation. That's why I'm like I'm not really bugging. I'm not really tripping. Because through all of this, I'm still like flowing with ideas. I'm still flowing with things that I'm doing and making happen, which I'm again not gonna speak on them because I want to be able to make sure I accomplish those things before I share my accomplishments, because that's another thing too. Reminding myself that I don't have to share everything, and I know pretty big bad with that, like oversharing certain things, and that is something else I've been working on. But recognizing that when my accomplishments, let my accomplishments speak for themselves. So I'm not gonna sit here and you know divulge too much in that retrospect, but just know I'm working on things behind the scenes. Unfortunately, it's not been as much work on my channel as I would have liked, but here's hoping going forward that I'll be able to get back to that in the way that I want to get back to it. Because I do want to continue to be yet another safe space for TI individuals, as well as just anyone who supports uh, people in this particular situation, and just in general, like for us to be able to come here and meet and shoot the breeze with one another. Like lifetimes, I appreciate you commenting and contributing in the live feed. Again, it's the only one I've been seeing. I don't know if there's anybody else present that has been commenting, but I haven't been seeing any. So if you have been commenting and I haven't been seeing it, don't think that I'm like ignoring you or whatever. It's not coming up for me. So I just want to put that out there. But and that's, like I said, that's another reason I want to make sure that my channel is okay, and that it's not like being intercepted or hacked or whatever, because I definitely suspect some funky foul play. But unless YouTube does something about it, like I don't think there's anything more I can do about it other than what I've done. So it is what it is. There are other platforms, so thank God for that. Um, and I've just had a lot of time to think about a lot. if if you haven't, you know, got that message above everything else that I've talked about, and like I said, I have missed you guys. I missed just the again not a lot of interactions, but the little bit of you all who would you know converse with me and participate. Like I really do appreciate that, because it is important to have a social network in which you can rely. But at the same time, like I'm the type of person, like yeah, I like it, but I'm not desperate for it. Like I'm not gonna like try to force people to interact with me and stuff like that. That's like if I just got on here and no one joined, I would still been up here talking the same way I'm talking, because I know that eventually once it gets posted and people start watching it, somebody who relates will hopefully see it and chime in and whatnot. So and especially if you're someone who has a support system, IRL, offline, consider yourself blessed and lucky, because a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't. That's why I thank my lucky stars for my little support system, which is, like I said, myself, my husband, my two boys. Even though, you know, yeah, there's some days I'm like, dang, I wish I had like a girl mom friend or whatever, or girl mom, a girlfriend to kind of talk to or whatever, just because I'm the only female in the house. So it's like, if you're a boy mom, you get it. But I just feel like with everything going on, it's kind of hard to just keep or let people in, because you don't know whom you're dealing with, and these are very unsafe times. And just referencing back to the incident that took place at the Walmart with that individual, stuff like that is why you can't just, even though that was a public space and a public, shopping facility, but that's just even more confirmation where you just can't be trusting everybody with, those you love most and those that you hold most dear. You kind of got to really, really vet people these days before you let them in your inner sanctum. Um, and I'm gonna always stand for that. Just as a lesson learned, even from my own personal life of having individuals that I've allowed in my family and my life, and seemingly did more harm than good. Doesn't mean that I can't, and or have not gotten to a place where I can forgive those people or whatever. But that still doesn't mean that I'm gonna be foolish enough to just, okay, yeah, y'all can just come back in and just we can do it all over again. Like, absolutely not. Like, like it's what is that whole access requested but denied or something like that. Like, I can still forgive you and all that jazz, and we can be cool, and I still, stay over here, you stay over there. But I just don't find that a lot of people are truly like repentant a lot of the time. I feel like a lot of it is performative, just so they can get back in your space and your groove, and little monitoring spirits can be, oh, okay, I see they got this, they did this, they got, and it's just kind of crazy. Arena casino shooter, active shooter. Oh shoot, I didn't heard anything about that Lifetime shoot. Thank you for letting me know. Not that it's like it's so crazy because it's like I know my husband and my son be like, mommy, babe, you're doom scrolling. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's just, it's what's coming up. But I'm like, no, I do be doom scrolling. I don't know why, because I do know why. I feel like it's like another way I connect with what's going on in the world. Because otherwise, like I said, I'm pretty much a hermit at this point. I'm in the house, like I'm not, and for good reason, But I know also you can't live in fear, and it's not even like right now. Like maybe initially it was, for fear, social anxiety, all that stuff, but now it's not more so. Like this is where I feel most inspired in my space, and I can, go out and interact, because it's gotten to a point now where a lot of, like I said, a lot of the shenanigans I encounter, it's like I'm not like I don't know, I feel like something has like changed in me, like a switch has gotten flipped to the point where I'm no longer embodying the emotions or the energy that's being projected at me. Like I almost kind of feel like it's like a, how you say, it's like a ricochet effect, like anything that's being, or like a, how's that saying go, anything you do bounces off of me and sticks to you. Like that's like the kind of energy I've been feeling lately. Like yeah, I see what they're doing, yeah, I hear what they're doing, yeah, but it's not been like phasing me like how it was initially. So I kind of feel like that stranglehold is either breaking or has broken, or I've just grown more confident in myself. So that's why anytime I go out, I have my head held high, I got a smile on my face most of the time. If not, I'm just rest in be face, because I know I got it naturally unfortunately. And I'm just chilling. Like I'm not looking to get into anything, but I'm also just like, okay, cool, whatever happens happens. Like I'm not like, so that's why, like, with seeing all of this, stuff going on in the world, I'm like, man, this stuff is like really crazy, but I still gotta go out here every now and again. I still gotta go do the things I need to do for my family. Um, and like I said, just little by little getting over a lot of those anxieties and stuff like that that I would get hung up on. Um, and I do feel like sometimes that me being home more can exacerbate those things a little more, just because I'm not like every day in the public light, like how most people go to work, drop kids off school. Like that's how my life used to be. But especially since I had started homeschooling my boys, like I really hadn't had much need to go out as much, with the exception of like grocery shopping or just like going to the parks or whatever. But other than that, it's like nothing crazy. And I know, like I said, for me, I don't necessarily look at it as a bad thing or a good thing. I just feel like it's one of those things that if you let it, it can become like a hindrance. But I don't feel hindered by it. I still am able to get everything that I need for myself, for my family. And it's not that I am socially awkward in the sense of I don't know how to hold a conversation. Like I can. I'm just not a person that really enjoys small talk. I rather like, talk about the universe and, deep topics or like current events and stuff like that. Which I know there's been a lot of that stuff going on, especially on the political realm. But I know I reserve that just for at home with my family, more so my hubby. I wouldn't sit here and talk y'all ear off about a lot of that stuff because again, we all have our opinions and we can all agree to disagree or whatever. But it's gonna be things are gonna happen the way they need to happen. Like that's all I can continue to lean on. But thank you all for joining in and listening to me ramble on and on. I like to be able to say I'll be back hopefully sooner than a month. But when you're living this type of life, you never really know. So my hope is to, like I said, get back on the grind and just kind of recommit to my channel because like I said I've been able to accomplish the goal of uh, becoming a partner, yay, but I still am not there yet. So um, I've also like to continue to see or continue to get back engaged with my followers and or subscribers, excuse me, not followers, subscribers, because I do like that was one of my hopes is to be able to form a community on here and we can be a little more I don't say family because I feel like that is kind of trying to see how I can say this. I feel like it's kind of toxic a little bit because I noticed that that's something that a lot of YouTubers do. It's like, oh, you're my family, but it's like I feel like when you start saying stuff like that, some people really take that stuff to heart. And with what I'm already going through, I don't need any more people that already, feel super hella attached to myself or my family or whatever. It's like it's one thing to be a supporter. There's nothing wrong with that, but I still want to respect that boundary, because again, I feel like that's another thing that just kind of plays into what's going on in society right now, why people have such a hard time um understanding sometimes that yes, the creators that you support and all that, you do contribute to that. However, that's still that person's life, even no matter how much or little of it that they choose to share, that's still their life and they're still going to make respective decisions that's best for them and their actual family. So I think people, just need to understand that you can relate and feel connected and all that, but still keep it professional, keep it respectful, I should say, more so in understanding that that person likely does have an actual family um, who might rely upon them. So, um, oh, you're a private person too, like, yeah, same. Like I prefer to, ultimately be by myself, but I've never rejected like a good time. Like if someone's coming with respect, if again, we can hang out here and there and but you got your thing, I got my thing, that's different. But some people, like I said, they get really possessive over other people's lives, over other people's families, like, so it's like I just feel like, especially being in TI, you got to be a little more careful about stuff like that because you don't want to give some people the wrong impression. And I know that's something that is a big struggle here in the U.S. is people respecting boundaries and not getting their feelings hurt and just really understanding that just because someone is setting a boundary doesn't necessarily mean that they hate you or dislike you. It's because that they love themselves more, and or they might be someone like myself who really didn't grow up with any boundaries, so they let, like I say, anybody just talk to them any kind of way, treat them any kind of way, and they're trying to practice better self-love, self-care, self-esteem, essentially. and that doesn't make them a bad person. For setting boundaries, I feel like everyone should have boundaries. It'd be no different if, someone's calling your phone at midnight every night and you're like, okay, I've set a boundary with you. Please don't call me past this time. And they still keep persistently doing it, knowing that you got to, like, get up and work an early shift or something like that. Like, that's a respective boundary that needs to be respected, whether they understand why you said it or not. They can be disappointed. They can feel how they want to feel, but they still need to respect the boundary if they want to continue to maintain the appropriate relationship with you, on a respect level. Because, for me, that's a lot of my struggles that I dealt with, is that, people would get so comfortable with me that they would just not respect my boundaries. But it was also on me because I never set, respective boundaries for them in the first place. So I would always be like, oh yeah, I'm always available, I'm always here. So just, but I'm like, that was, now knowing what I know, that was the wrong the wrong approach. Like, no, even though I am naturally a happy go free open person, no, you still need to set boundaries for yourself. That's self-love, that's self-care, and there's nothing wrong with that. And if someone has a problem with that, that's how you know that's someone who has benefited from you not having boundaries. And so now that you're trying to set boundaries, it rubs them the wrong way, because they were just being able to treat you however they wanted to treat you and talk to you however they want to talk to you. And now you're like, hey, you can't talk to me like that. Well, what do you mean? And then, that's how you know people who, probably weren't being your friend or confidant or whatever for the right reasons. Um, Sad to say, like I said, that narcissistic, like, spirit is on a lot of people. And sometimes it can even be covert, meaning that it's not something that's blatant in your face, but over time you start to notice the patterns and you're like, okay, yeah, this person doesn't respect me, doesn't respect my boundaries, but then you better not cross over theirs. That's another thing too. And like I said, for me, I've been a person that's been on that side. So that's why, like I said, I won't cross that line with, like, calling you all like family. Like, again, I don't mind calling you my phoenixes, or as you stated earlier, lifetime soul tribe. Like, that's cool, because that again, it's, y'all are respected enough by me to have your own title, to have your own delineation from my actual family. Like, I respect y'all enough to give you your own thing, not just lump everybody in one respective category. So in actuality, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. It's a really good thing. And again, it's just mutual respect. Like, I wouldn't expect someone to call me their family or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know this person from Adam. Like, like, they just met me and they already think I'm family or whatever. And again, I don't, like I said, I don't throw out that term for just anybody, honestly, because yeah, that's something that has to be earned. There's things and requirements that I look for and that I have. Like, so, okay, if this person checks these kind of boxes, I'm like, okay, you a real one. You're, or as I like to say, I adopt people into my family, but I don't just be calling everybody family. You just can't do that, in my opinion. I know that was a little tangent. That was kind of along with the bigger tangent, but anyway. So yeah, that's pretty much me. Life update. Nothing too crazy much has changed. I do have some, like I said, some things coming up that I might be away a little more, because my hubby got some stuff that he's gonna have going on, and I'm gonna pretty much be there for him through that. But hopefully, it shouldn't interfere with this, because it wasn't initially. But just in case, just kind of giving a heads up. Excuse me, I'm not so burpy right now. Let me see. I know I really love to get back to the esoteric knowledge. Oh, you had some health issues. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Lifetimes. You don't have to share more than you're wanting to, but I hope that it gets better for you, whatever it is that you're dealing with, or that you've gotten past it, if it's something ongoing. But don't feel like you got to share too much, because again, that's personal stuff. What was I saying? Oof. Squirrel moment. If I'm being honest. It's a slow process, apparently. Oh, okay. Well, please get your rest as much as you can. Take as much time as you need to just heal. All this stuff will be here. For sure, for sure. I'm convinced it's from the negatives. Yeah. And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is why it's important for those of us going in this program to take care of ourselves on a mental as well as a physical as best as we can. Again, I know, like, there's some personal demons I'm still battling with the health stuff, but it's not nothing nearly like how I've gone through in the past. So that's why, like, I don't even get on here and complain about my stuff, because I'm like, it's a drop in the bucket compared to what I'm sure other people got going on. And like I said, I've survived cancer, so in my book, I'm like, I'm tougher than I think I am. And there be days I still be trying to figure out how I'm still here, honestly, because you really, really gotta take care of yourself. And I know when it comes to just everything going on, from the environmental factors, when it comes to our air, our food, our water, um, the things that we put in and on our bodies matter. But um, I know for me, like I said, I've also had to learn not to be so rigid about stuff like that, because there was, like, I'd say a solid like 7 years of me just like eating like all organic, and everything got to be this and that, because like after, like I said, going through cancer, when I got done, like I like, again, I don't want to say change my diet, because like I said, I was vegetarian when I got diagnosed with cancer. I've been vegetarian for 6 years. So I know, like, when people are like, oh, it's about what you eat, and I'm like, yeah, that plays a role, but I wasn't eating no meat. I wasn't eating none of that stuff for those 6 years, and still got it in a very aggressive type at that. So my whole thing is, everyone just has to do what's best for them. So Lifetimes, like I said, please do take your time, rest, relax. Don't overdo it. Don't stress out too much, because stress is the main freaking culprit. That cortisol, and it's crazy, because when you finally get true rest and relaxation, you'll start to notice little changes in your body, like how you might like clench your jaw a lot. Your shoulders are always up here, and it's crazy, because you won't even like realize it. I can't eat dairy or have caffeine. Total diet, lifestyle change. Oh shoot, okay. Well, I hope that you're acclimating well to the new protocols for yourself. I know I'm terrible when it comes to stuff like that, because I keep trying like different things, and trying to solve some other issues I got going on, that I'm trying to figure it out myself. I know I probably shouldn't. I should be under the care of a physician, but just with my experiences, I'm just like kind of done with that. So yeah, I miss cheese. Yeah, cheese is one of those ones. Like, even me now, like, I recognize as um a older adult, getting up there, mid-age adult, whatever frick I would be. There's just sometimes like you can have it and then you can't. Which technically I shouldn't be having it at all, because I am lactose, but we still have it. Same thing with ice cream and stuff like that too. Like, that's what I said, that for me it's about just not being so rigid, because I'm one of those people, like I said, it's one extreme or the other. Really little to no like gray areas sometimes when it comes to that stuff. Nuts too, my favorite snack. Mmm. Well, shoot, yeah, I know. Well, I mean, again, I'm not sure exactly what you got going on lifetimes, but I hope that that's something that you'll be able to get back to if whatever you're going through permits it. Pumpkin seed. Oh yeah, that's a good alternative. I like the pizza as well. Petite there. But yeah, trying to think. Yeah, health is important. That's why, like, I know, like I said, for me, just lounging about, like, I'll be having moments. I'm like, man, I should really get up. I should do something. And then there's times where I'm just like, I'm all over the place and I'm doing too much. So it's like, I just feel like there's no real in between for me. It's either or I like what I heard another creator say last week. Is like, well, I'm not lazy. I'm selectively active, and I was like, I like that. I'm gonna adopt because that's how I feel about myself. I'm selectively active when I want to be. I did invest in a rebounder, which is something I've been wanting to try, but also because my freaking treadmill died, so I was like, yeah, I kind of miss not being able to have nothing because this AZ heat, seeing as my first time experiencing this summer, um, I wasn't sure what the weather was gonna be like. I know it's gonna be hot, but I didn't know how hot it gets out here. And then when we're seeing like how you had talked about earlier lifetimes about the heat index increase and all that stuff, I was like, man, like stuff is like really, really kind of crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I can take the heat with the best of them, but I ain't out here trying to pass out. So that's another reason I've been been in the house. But I'm like, but at the same time, at least having a rebounder, I'm like, I can get up and do that. But even that, I did it for the first week or so, and then I stopped. And then like now, I'm like, okay, I really need to get back to it. But I'm also trying to incorporate my own little new protocol that I just briefly touched on a few moments ago. So it's like I'm trying to do that in tandem to see what results I get, to kind of do like an experiment, so to speak, on with that, and see if it kind of helps with the situation that I'm trying to resolve. But I don't know, like I just been finding it harder and harder lately. It's like it's like my spirit is willing and all that, but just some days I'm like, man, like I just it's almost like a trying to think. It's almost like an energy that kind of comes over me. It's like, man, I just don't feel like doing nothing. And then I have to keep checking in with myself. Like, I'm not depressed. I'm not sad. I'm not, everything's fine. Like, it's not any of that. Like, it's so hard to put words to it sometimes. And I'm like, man, am I just like losing motivation? Am I losing like determination? But it's like I've always kind of been a person that I work in spurts and stops, and but I am ultimately a determined person. So it's like if it's something I really want, I will get it done. It might take a couple of breaks in between or whatever, but eventually I'll get it done if that's what I truly desire to do. So so that's what I'm saying. Like with all of this, mental health, physical health, mindfulness, self care, just give yourself grace. Be patient with yourself. Don't overdo it. Don't underdo it. Like the days that you feel like you can take on the world, then hey, do what you can. Do the most of what you can. Um, I know like something I learned about. What was it? I think it's called the 12 spoons. More so referring to individuals who suffer with like autoimmune diseases, where it's like every activity that you do Not even necessarily physical, but every activity that you do is considered like it's worth a spoon. So essentially, once for every activity that you do throughout the day, you take away a spoon. So once you run out of spoons, you rest, and you just stop and you just rest. You don't try to overcompensate and do more. So I kind of sometimes apply that to myself as well. Like I said, when there's days where I'm feeling phenomenal, I'll get up and I'll do all these things, because I oftentimes have to continually remind myself too that I am a survivor. So it's like, there are still sometimes residual effects of the stuff that I've gone through that still, impact me. Maybe not as much as it did after the first like initial 5 years, but I've never felt 100% the same after going through what I went through, which I don't think anyone that has would, and or does. So if they're being, completely honest and real with themselves, like there's still things that other people can't see, that you go through, or your personal struggles that you go through, whether that be on an emotional or physical level. And I know for me, like I did end up with, uh, what's the word, some residual side effects that, I'm still battling to this day. But, life goes on. It's not about playing the violin about it, because that's not why I'm mentioning it, but it's just to show you that you can still make those things happen for yourself. And that's why, like, I don't beat myself up, at least not anymore, because I used to be very bad about that. But I don't beat myself up anymore about when I just lays out, or I'm just like, glazed over, because I'm like, yeah, but to the untrained eye, or to someone who doesn't know my situation, she's just lazy, she's just laying around all day. She don't. But I'm like, yeah, but you don't know what I've gone through. You don't know my struggle. You don't know what I'm dealing with actively. Like, there's a whole caveat to everything. So that's another reason why, like I said, I don't judge myself so harshly on stuff like that. I'm actually grateful to be able to have these opportunities to rest as much as I have been, especially lately, because actually within probably the next month or two, my life is probably about to get a little more stressful, at least temporarily, just regular stress, nothing crazy, but with, like I said, with some things that is pertaining to the family. So you know that's why I'm appreciative that I'm able to do all this resting now. Is kind of like gearing me up for what I gotta, what the challenges that's gonna be coming ahead. So like I said, lifetimes, I hope whatever you're going through, I hope it gets better. I hope that you're able to recover and recoup well, and just continue to remember to give yourself grace. Don't overdo it. Just take everything as it comes. And don't worry too much, because everything always works out. Oh yeah, good. Oh yeah, I hear that. Yeah, I think what is it? The practice of what is it? Reverse geez, what is it? Reverse reflexology. I think it is when gut issues may be in relation to stress. I think. Don't quote me, because I know it's something I kind of looked into from my own respective gut issues, which I feel like most females do struggle with gut issues, unfortunately. Especially if you don't have children. Like, I know you got gut issues. Baby's in there dancing on your bladder and spleen and everything in between. But yeah, definitely look into that, because I know there's like different what's the word I'm looking for? Different physical. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not. Well, shoot, I'm really not sure what you got going on with your gut for physical therapy. Oh, back. Okay, that makes more sense. 'Cause I was like, wait, they do physical therapy for stomach stuff? Like, shoot, probably should have signed up a long time ago. But no, okay. So again, in that retrospect, I definitely hope that you're resting, getting getting what you need from that program. But yeah, quite frankly, I don't know how a lot of us are making it right now. Like it's like there's always something going on. I think what's even crazier about it is like how you're still on here and you still seem to have like a good disposition about you. So kudos to you. Lifetimes. And I think that's a big part of it all too. It's all about mindset, and that's been a hard reality I've had to come to myself. Ultrasound revealed big kidney stone. Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, shoot. Well, I hope, again, I'm not sure if you're opting to do surgery on that or if you're trying to like purge it naturally. I mean, if that's even a possibility. But whatever route that you're taking, I hope everything goes smooth. Mmm. Fatty liver. Well, shoot. Again, really, look at your lifetime. I need you to just go ahead and go get your rest. But shoot, I didn't realize this video or this live gotten this gosh darn long. That's crazy. I'm better. Okay. Awesome. Now I know I hear people say health is wealth all the time. And it's like, I kind of agree with that, but then kind of don't, just because I'm like, life is, oh no, no surgery. Oh, okay, awesome. Well, shoot, that's even better. No surgery. Good for you. But yeah, like I was saying, I know people say health is wealth and all that jazz, and it's like, yeah, in a way, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of other things that take precedence over the physical, because the physical is oftentimes a reflection of the mental. That's why I like mention reflexology. If you believe in that type of those type of practices, that a lot of the stuff that we deal with stems from, stuff like situational things, and they manifest into something physical a lot of the times. Um, I know I've had situations like that for me where a lot of the stuff or some of the stuff that I've gone through is just manifested just years of stressing about things and bottling things up and keeping it to myself, and instead of releasing those things. And again, like I said earlier, like if you don't release that stuff, it can come back to haunt you and turn into something medical, unfortunately. But I'm glad, like I said, that you're on the right track and you're healing, you're getting better, so that's awesome. But yeah, like I said, I didn't know I was talking this long. I knew it was gonna be long winded, but ooh, I'll pay attention to my ash. That's so, that's the one thing about the water out here. It's always drying out my hands, no matter how much I keep them moisturized. But yeah, I didn't realize, like I said, just this video got away from me a little bit. But thank you all again for listening. And Warrior Lifetimes, thank you for sharing what you shared. I hope that everyone is doing well. I look forward to hearing from you all in the comments. Like, feel free to chime in about anything. If I missed anything or if y'all want to talk about anything, Hopefully in the next live, I'll be able to see it so we can discuss it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for your support, and just being patient with me throughout all of this. I'm still finding my way through all of this stuff, and trying to get better with dealing with it overall. But I appreciate every last one of you who are still subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much. And I'm kind of blown away by that because I thought for sure I would have lost a whole heck of a lot more followers or subscribers. I don't like saying followers, subscribers, but surprisingly, not a lot of you all left. So hey, clearly you're getting something from here. I don't know what, but you're getting something, and that does my heart good because I'm one of those people I resolve like, hey, if I can just help one person, I'm okay with that. But until next time, see ya.